right. And we are now live for our second episode of Lords of Faerun. I am Kira858, and I'm hearing myself in the echo, so my apologies. Just 1 second. There we go. Mute. Okay, perfect. So once again, thank you all so much for coming by and taking a look at the stream. We definitely appreciate it. All the love and support that we received from the first episode was absolutely incredible. I was shocked. It felt so good. All the positive feedback and what everybody was saying from YouTube and Twitch, it was incredible. So thank you all so much for that. It means so much to us. In terms of support, if you guys would like to support us, there's multiple ways to do it. We have a Patreon in place where you could be able to watch exclusive content like after shows, bonus episodes, podcasts. We even have exclusive channels specifically on our Discord that would, of course, allow you to be able to talk about some of the things that happen in the campaign. And like I said, all of the funds from the Patreon actually goes to the cast. And by you supporting us, that's going to help us allow to bring more content creation towards you, like future bonus episodes, like possible pairings between different individuals. Maybe some ideas on the horizon. So if you would like to see, that bad boys buddy, lethal weapon type buddy cop ordeal, when we reach certain stretch goals, may be able to see some in the near future. So you should be able to join our Patreon, which I actually could put the link in chat. And that should be able to allow us to support us in our endeavors. In terms of other support, of course, we don't have monetary means, likes, retweets. We also, of course, you can put it in our hashtag, Lords of Faerun. We would love to see all of the content in there as well. So just getting the name out there, all of that would just be super appreciated. Again, we are very appreciated for everything that we've done so far. And that's pretty much it for the shilling. So we could actually go straight into our cast, starting with Elisa. Elisa?
Hi, I'm Elisa Pearl. I am the Dungeon Master of Lords of Faerun, and I want to say happy Juneteenth, everyone. It's not a federal holiday. I don't know,
Yes.
national holiday now in the U.S. It is a federal holiday now, but the fight continues because, holiday is great, but we need voting access, and so let's just keep fighting for that. But happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth, indeed. Next, Adrian. Adrian, you'd like to talk about yourself and who you're playing?
Hey guys, I'm Adrian Bear, and I am playing Jesse D as the lovable surfer Asmar monk. And it's great to be here.
Awesome. Next, we have Reed. Reed, you'd like to talk about who you're playing and a bit about yourself?
Hello, everyone. I am Ree, or at Big Dude Ree on Twitter, and I will be playing the lovely Silver Tongue Bard, who is going to be a wonderful companion for the rest of the campaign.
Make our way downtown. We have, of course, our good friend May. May, you'd like to talk about yourself and who you're playing?
Hi there, I'm Melee Damage. I apologize for my background noise. I'm currently living in hell in the middle of this heat wave, so it's 120 degrees where I'm at, so bear with me. If I don't have it, I'll die. And today I will be playing Ice, who is your friendly neighborhood rogue ASMR, who is primarily just here to kill things and loot things, but she's with her friends, and that is all that matters to her.
Perfect. And of course, we have our good friend Diana. Diana, would you like to talk about yourself and who you're playing?
Hi, I'm Diana, or Super Dylan, and I am playing Elliot, who is a changeling ranger with his trusty raven and dragon friend.
All right. And we now have Glyza. Glyza, would you like to talk about yourself and who you're playing?
Hi, I am Glyza from Classical Glyza on Twitter, and I will be playing Helena, an elf rogue with a secret that is probably going to be found out pretty soon, and she is definitely not ready for it.
Fine, it'll be fine, hopefully. As for yours truly, I am Kira858, and I am playing the 9'5" half giant Latreo that likes to eat all food in sight. So beware at the barbecue. And so with that said, we're going to go ahead and bring you our introduction for our second episode of Lords of Faerun.
Latreo, Avis, Jesse, Helena, Ice, Elliot, Aliza as DM, Lords of Faerun.
All right, and we are back. And with that said, Eliza, take it away.
Well, we pick back up where we left off last time, which is the night of the Sea Elves' formal dinner in your honor, which was unceremoniously interrupted by Gregoro, a 12-foot, formerly human Yuan-Ti abomination, basically a serpent man, and his mysterious rogue companion. Now, the rogue companion was dispatched very quickly by, I believe, Elliot and Helena, sorry, but not before the rogue nearly found and cornered Helena, who was in hiding, which made it pretty apparent that she is, in fact, the target of those two interlopers. The Yuan-Ti abomination, Gregoro, you all interrogated, got some information from him, found out that he had been enchanted by someone he called the Lonely One, just outside of his home in the Serpent Hills. He was abducted, and he doesn't remember what happened, but he believes he was under some sort of enchantment or influence by this Lonely One and sent to kill Helena. So you find yourselves tonight recovering from this episode, and you find yourselves in the Diaz's home pretty late at night. The children have gone to bed. The adults are all gathered around the fireplace, sipping warm beverages, and you all find yourselves having to reassure the family that this type of thing isn't going to just happen whenever you come back to the island.
That was a bit of unpleasantness, but I assure you, it won't be a problem for very long. It is very rare for anyone to be able to find this place, after all.
And
Well-
grandmother, Jesse's adopted mother, grandmother, the half sea elf, says, "Well, I should hope not. We've spent our entire lives and generations on this island, and no one has found it before."
Yes, I see that we hope this will not happen again. About making guarantees, however, do we know that for certain?
There's nothing certain in this world or in any other, to be honest. Anything can happen, but it's not very likely to happen. Lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. I believe that's the surface saying.
Jesse will take grandmother's hands in his, and he will actually speak to her in Aquan, because it's just a commonplace thing for him. He's not really thinking about it. And he's sort of like touching his forehead to her head as well while he's saying this, and he says, "I apologize deeply for this happening, grandmother. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but just before that fella attacked, I got one of those warnings that happen every now and then. So I think in her own way, I feel like this is the mother's way of bringing me somewhere else to take care of something. I don't think they found this place by accident. I think she brought them here for us so we could get out and do something."
Yes, That must be it. And grandmother does seem kind of calmed by you saying this. And over by the entryway to the door, she's just brought in a fresh pot of tea. Your wife, Eloa, comes in and she says, Grandmother, father, just, we know this is not a normal occurrence here, and I'm sure these folks will figure out why this happened and make sure it never happens again. And also, remember, we were lucky that they were here. We were lucky because Lomesh and Siva are still away. And until they come back, we don't have any strong protectors besides this group.
I wouldn't say that. I'm sure you all could have easily handled it if I have more than enough seen you with the children and I forget the word in common for foot garment, sandals, I think. It is very terrifying. I'm sure it would have scared off everyone.
Helena quietly but angrily says, I'm sure none of this would have happened if I was here. And I'm sure I was led differently to believe that nobody can find me here. But it happens. It all happens. I am going to go again for another walk if you guys don't mind. Decide whatever you want to decide, but I need some time to think.
As Helena walks out, Elliot is going to kind of look at each member of the group and land on Avis, like just kind of giving a look like should we do something? Should we let that go?
We must find our own paths. I have a faith that Helena will be fine. Besides, she's far more dangerous than I am on her own. And the only person who can give her the answer she needs is her.
That is fair. I trust you on that. So what do we do now?
Well, that is up to you all. Personally, I don't want to intrude, but we must. I have a feeling that this individual, this lonely person, is not exactly going to give up now that he has failed. I have no idea if he'll be able to find this place soon, but my limited knowledge of the arcane and of the divine tell me that eventually he will succeed again, and perhaps next time it'll be a bit more than a single serpent person.
I tend to think that we're not supposed to stay here for a bit. All that, if that makes sense.
I quite agree with you, Jesse. I think that whatever is sending things here to us will strike again, and I'd rather not endanger this town.
All right.
Bren says, "Who? Do you know anything about this? Whoever this is, that is seems to be after Helena. What has she told you about them?"
She hasn't, which she may not know and is fine. What we know about the person who came is that they follow or under the influence of somebody called the Lonely One.
What I understand, they're out a little bit to the west of Cormier, so I mean it's not close by any means, but it's not terribly far.
Latrell looks around, kind of like keeping his eyes up at the horizon, which is weird for him because he's not normally looking up. And then when he returns back to the group, he says, Dragons. Well, dragons protect. Here.
I'm sure you're right. I think they can handle a few snake people. Especially, I have a feeling that a few of them are a bit itching to show off a little bit.
Hmm. Where are they?
I'm not
Very-
entirely sure.
Very likely Jackson is actually in the house and probably like by the fire. I think his demeanor is essentially one that during the daytime, when all the kids are awake, he pretends to be asleep more often than not so he can get some rest. But at nighttime, he's like a bit of a night owl and maybe even kind of studious.
Oh, he's referring to the remaining six, the six that actually stay on the island.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's looking around. He says, "Dragons that stay here, protect."
Grandmother says, yes, so the dragons that have stayed here while you are away, they've set up a bit of a perch or a nest on the west side of the island. So you all would know this, especially you, Jesse. This island is a bit of like a long oval shape, rough, not a perfect oval, of course. You are currently on the east side where there is like a sandy beach on that end of the island, and the west side of it is much more rocky, craggy coastline. And those rocks ascend up as you go inwards towards the center of the island. And so the dragons have made themselves a little perch up on top of these rocks.
Perhaps we should go and see them first before we head off to, um, deal with whatever is happening in the Serpent Hills.
I think it's a great idea. Actually, hanging up with them in a little bit now. I've been meaning to say, actually, Brent, have we decided on people who are going to be fostering those youngins?
Do you mean the dragons? Fostering the
Yeah,
dragons?
the other six. I mean, I know, like people look in them from time to time, but I was thinking, it's nice for folks to have kind of a permanent family they belong to, in a sense.
And actually, grandmother speaks up. Brent and I have had a lot of arguments about the dragons because honestly, we love them and we love having them here. But number one, they are teenage dragons, and some of them are acting up. Just so you know, some of them are not getting along with the others, and also they probably, some of them especially, would be happier in colder climates. So once they are much more mature, it might be wise to actually let them relocate on their own and let them find their own way. And then Bren speaks up and says, I just think they're family. They should always stick together. We should keep them here, and yes, we some of them are causing issues, but they'll grow out of it. They're just kids. And
I mean,
grandmother, you can see them like kind of go back and forth a little bit.
Jesse has at this point sidled up closer to his wife and has got his arms around her waist from the back, and he's like, "Now I'm sure I have no idea what they're talking about, teenagers causing trouble or anything on an island. I mean, none of that sounds familiar at all."
LOL laughs. That's actually a good point, grandmother. We were teenagers once too, and did you just kick us out? And grandmother says, no, of course not. But you are sea elves, and you are a sea elf. But Jesse is an honorary sea elf, and you all belong here. You do belong here. If you wanted to leave, I would have let you, but you never did. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, then perhaps we ask them.
Can be arranged. I will. There are many magical abilities that I've read about in books that could help alleviate some uncomfortableness relating to the climate as well. Um, so it's up to them, as my mother used to say. You'll have the right to determine our futures. You simply have to take them.
A question is Ice is with us, correct?
Actually, that's a good segue because Helena, as you head out the door to, get some alone time, you trip over Ice. Ice, where are you and what are you doing there?
Oh, I am waking up to see my wonderful friend Helena walking over me, and I go, "Oh, hello. You know what? I feel much better today. Is it still today? Is it tomorrow yet? I don't know. It's been a very long sleep for me. How was dinner party? I was there for like 30 seconds, and I was like, people look a little too hoity-toity here for me. Maybe I come back later, rob place, so I just leave and then end up passing out. How you doing?"
Um, I'm I'm doing all right. You didn't miss much other than a giant serpent trying to attack me. Like randomly out of nowhere, totally randomly. I don't know why they attacked me, but they're here and I need to find some way to not be here. But also, I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad you had a good nap. But
The giant serpent look rich.
even if he was, he's gone now. They let him go.
Oh, the nieces have no interest in me. Where are you gone now? You look like you see ghosts. Are you all right?
I'm just walking around. If you can join me if you want to, but I'm trying to just take some time thinking.
Oh, I think fresh air walk would be good. Good for lungs. Good way to start morning or night or whatever time it may be. Yeah, I will walk with you.
Um, Helena walks in silence for a little bit, which is technically not real is technically new for everyone as she's usually very talkative, but she's
Mm,
silent this time around.
And so the two of you walk. Where are you walking to? Would you like to walk down the beach or elsewhere?
Probably gonna stay away from the beach just because she just got attacked from there. Probably gonna
Yeah.
start walking inland or whatever. Maybe where there are like houses so that she feels comfortable in the shade of the like, you know, reminds herself of her past.
Yes, great. So yes, you two walk through the village, further inland from the Diaz's home. And yes, you pass by dimly lit homes. People are going to bed. You see some soft candlelight in some windows, but some windows are completely dark. It's pretty peaceful. The moon is out, so there's light from the moon mostly.
I see why you are quiet. We come here at night because you plan to pull heist. No, is good thinking. Haha. And Ice will start rummaging through her pack, like pulling out different, um, like different lock picks and different like trinkets that she has for like her craft of what she does, and kind of like showing Helena.
Helena smiles and just slips right back into her old habits of like casing places. I don't think I don't know if they are actually going to do anything with actual stealing from these people just because they've welcomed her and all that. So she's just going to be like just going through the motions of like pointing out to Ice where look, there's a little bit of an area that you can come into, or look, there's a little weakness right there, just sort of that.
I will write down for later.
Nice. And you all come to the basically the town center circle. I would say not quite a square, but it's a circle. There's another one of those under fountains where there is the top of a fountain, which we would normally see on human mainland with water shooting out in cool patterns. But then there's also an underside to it where the water is doing the same but shooting downwards and back up. Definitely some type of magical architecture here.
You ever see anything like that before?
Should I roll for like whether I if I know anything like that?
Sure. Yeah, you could do um maybe like some type of lore. What would you roll for this?
And if it's gonna be like knowledge about like magical stuff, probably Arcana or history, maybe.
Okay.
So I rolled a 12.
Okay, so you haven't necessarily seen a fountain like this, but you do recognize that there are certain sea elves that like to use magic that bends water, and it's a type of water art that the sea elves have kind of honed and perfected. So you are familiar with this type of water art, but on this island, because it's so secluded and others don't typically come here, they have their own particular style of this type of water art that you're seeing here.
It's just art like that they've been working on around on the island. I don't think it looks a little different from what I'm used to.
Ah, I see. Are you part cat by any chance? You seem to look very uneasy every time we walk by the water, so I'm just sensing a little distress in your area.
Do you mind repeating that?
Ah, I said, are you part cat by any chance? Every time we walk by water, you seem a little distressed.
Not really a situation. It's more of a recent development, nothing new. Not that it's not new. She obviously is flustered. She's saying that, oh, it's more of a recent development that I don't want to be in the water, more of near the ocean at the moment. I'm sure I'll get over it as I get over a lot of things.
Not here. Look, he's good. Water is not that tough. And Ice will take out a dagger from her hip, kind of twirl it around, and just start kind of stabbing the water.
Yes, Ice, thank you for that. That does make me feel much better.
You are very welcome. And anytime water tries to attack you, you let me know, and I shut it to his bust. And she kind of slashes her knife with, like, does this little swirl thing with a rapier.
Cool. The water art just kind of bounces around, and as you slice it, it's almost the way that you would imagine if you were to slice a downpour of water. It kind of briefly stops and then continues on its pattern.
Do you feel like you've got a good breather, my friend? Should we go back and join the others now that we've had a good case of the joint?
I believe that would be the best option. I think we should go back and see what they've decided and whether or not I will participate in that decision or whatever they've decided to do. We'll
Was
see.
there a
I'm not 100% sure yet. But thank you. Hanging out with you has definitely helped.
I like hanging out with you a lot. We do good crime together sometime. But was there a decision to be made? You fill me in on the walk of everything I have missed. No.
No problem. And so Helena fills out the everything that she's missed without, just letting off, like just letting some stuff out of the conversation so that, you know, she figures she doesn't need to know about what had happened in that cone of truth.
Okay. Um, so you're walking back towards the Diaz house. Is that right? Helena, you also um, gonna like do a little bit of a pause and ask a question about a previous scene last session. I remember you searched the rogue's body. It was you, right? Okay. And I I don't remember exactly what you found, but I'm going to like do a little bit of a rewind slash retcon for that moment,
Okay.
and say that you found special interest in this rogue's hood. They were wearing some type of special hood that you got a sense was magic, and so um, in that moment, we're gonna just do a little insert here of going back to that moment. What would you like to do?
Well, I'd probably pick it up and try and figure out what it is. I don't have I believe I have a little bit of detect magic, so I'm going to see what that is. So I'm going to spend a slot to detect magic just to see what kind of magic it is, and to also try and find out if there's like anything that would um hint, that would give me an idea about if the lonely one is the person that I think he is.
Okay. So yeah, you do detect magic on this item, and um, you see that it's actually an uncommon, wondrous item, and it is actually the cloak of the Manta Ray. So upon closer inspection, you realize what this is, and there's nothing on it that really tells you where it came from per se, or whether it connects back to the lonely one, the person who sent this person. But you realize that this is how that rogue was able to. I'm sorry, I keep saying rogue, and it was actually a ranger. This is how that ranger was able to ride on the back of the Yuan-Ti abomination under the water and sneak up on you all. So you are able, with this cloak, with the hood up, you can breathe underwater and swim with a speed of 60 feet.
Sweet.
And I'll actually send you a link to this item so you can have the info on it.
I have a DM question.
Yes.
So I was just looking at spell lists, and this is not something that druids have, unfortunately, which is commune. But I would imagine that on this island, are there clerics as well? Is there someone who sort of tends to that kind of, I don't know, faith kind of aspect of the island, or would it just be the nature-based druidic magics here?
I mean, I'll let you decide that, because this is, this island is basically your creation that we're building together now. So, yeah, there can you yeah, do you think there would be clerics here as well?
That's a hard one. If there are, there's probably like one, because the rest would be definitely more druid based, or even like, there's definitely the sorcerers, and then like the monks, etc. But there might be like one.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically, if there is such a person, uh, Jesse would be having the idea. He's having the idea regardless, because he knows of this sort of practice, but he knows that you can speak to and ask guidance from, higher beings.
Mm.
So that's what's sort of mulling through his mind at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And if such a person exists on the island, he would suggest they go and see them first before knowing if, to ask questions about, is the island safe, etc. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Do you
So,
do you want to make a percentile roll, Eliza?
no, let's just make the decision that this cleric exists. Like,
Tight. All right.
yeah. They exist. Yeah, I would say just, yeah, this one keeper of, um yeah, keeper of the spirituality of the Veshantari. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so let's just officially close out that moment, Helena, with the cloak. So you now have this cloak of the Manta Ray. And so now we're going back to the present moment, which is you and Ice walking back towards the Diaz's home. And you're now walking back east towards their house. and you hear a bit far away, maybe like half a mile towards the other side of the island, you hear the unmistakable roars and jostling of dragons.
I think our dragons are back, Ice.
Yes, the young ones are restless. I can hear that. It's so cute, the little noises that they make. I can't wait till they're bigger and they can spread terror. It's going to be so amazing.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and give a call to my dragon, Trebush, and see if he comes. Maybe he's all full, and I'm sure he should be feeling a lot better after what had happened. So I give a call. I just shout to, hoping that my dragon can hear me. I don't know if they can. I, I personally don't know if they can. My character doesn't know if they can, but she's gonna do it anyway. She's gonna go Trebush. Basically.
And you hear kind of like a howl. After a couple of moments, you hear a howl back in return.
That's my boy. I hope. I hope that's my boy, but I think it is my boy.
That sounded right. Yes, did not sound like my dragon. He's very like legendary man called Alan Rickman has similar sound.
That legendary bard that people talk about.
The great Rickman of Allen.
Okay. So you all are walking back to the, or you hear the dragons while you're walking back to the village, and now cutting back to the Diaz home. What's the next step for you all?
It sounds like we wish to speak with the dragons here to get things squared away, and then we'll go and see if we can find this odd attacker.
I was also thinking, there is there's a person on the island. They kind of live a little bit off by themselves, actually not far away from the hills where the rest of the dragons keep their nest. They kind of keep a lot of the faith and the lore about the place, but they might be good to speak to, because if anything, we can ask them to ask the Great Mother if they'll be able to find this place again, or if she sent them here for a reason.
Sounds very wise to me.
I think we should do both of those things. Latreia, I'd like to check on our dragons, if you don't mind. Would you join me?
Real nods. He then looks over at the table to see if there's any more food left remaining.
There is not.
Oh. Well,
Not on the table.
there's definitely a small sigh as he kind of like stares at it longingly, and then he looks back and he says, "Okay."
He sighs, and then Elliot says, Latreia, and then pulls out like the foraged stuff that Elliot had gotten earlier in the day, and is like, "Who are you talking to, Latreia? Here's some granola."
Literally, his eyes wide like a puppy. And if he had a tail, it'll be wagging right now because he's just like, "Thank you." Okay. And then he walks over. I'm presuming he's going. Do you actually hand it to him, or he just? Like,
yeah, no,
okay.
you'll just hand it to him. Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, "Okay," and he walks out with the course with the item in his hand. And he says, "Thank you. How did?" Oh, we could because he speaks.
Yeah, we could speak in our
Sylvan.
Sylvan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How did you know?
Latreia, I've known you for how long? You're always hungry. I actually got that in case you ate all of the dinner tonight, but we didn't quite get a chance to enjoy the meal, so.
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, it depends. If there was restrictions on how much I could eat, I would have said some.
No, of course you're always very considerate, but still, you push the limitations of what can be eaten
Yes.
And so I find that it's just easier on everybody if we always have a little bit extra.
Yes. By chance, how many of these do you have?
I got 5. You can have them. That's fine. I got my fill earlier.
Perfect. It just when he hears that, he pretty much just doused the entire granola package in his head. Now that he knows there's 4 more left remaining, he doesn't have to like penny pinch this granola in his hands.
Yeah.
So he's perfect.
I also in my head canon, because grandmothers, the moment grandmother sees you eating something else in her house, she's probably immediately going to start cooking because grandmothers.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, grandmother does head over to the kitchen and says, it is about time for a midnight snack. So she just heads over to go cook something up.
Latreia, we can have some when you come back.
he looks over. He looks over and says, be back. And then he starts walking.
And as soon as we exit the door, Elliot will switch to Sylvan. Where is your dragon?
I think he was in the hunt with the others. So maybe hopefully he should be successful. Or she should be successful.
Oh, good. Leonid should be with her, I believe.
I believe so, because
good.
we know how they operate
Yes.
when it comes to pack tactics. So it makes sense. It makes sense. But did your dragon talk to you about trouble? I guess.
Well, that's what I wanted to discuss. Ash kind of makes things difficult for us, as always playing tricks on Leonid, and I spend a lot of time keeping them under control, and since Ash is actually asleep right now, I kind of thought this might be a good time to pick their brains on this, because I feel like something is not sitting right, and I can't figure out if it is from the dragons or it is from this mysterious ranger and talk of the lonely one. I can't tell what it is that is putting me off, but I'd like to figure it out.
I agree. It seems weird because I don't think Snowroot has talked to me about it previously before, but now that we have some time, I can ask her about it. I mean, she would.
Good.
So, in regards to this lowly one, I know Helena seems a bit concerned about
She
approaching.
seems downright frazzled, yes.
Yes, that.
Mm.
But he still is taking people against their will. So
Yes.
even if she's concerned, I'm not sure. I don't think we can let this go.
No, I don't believe so either. I do think that we should be cautious. Clearly, Helena is entitled to have things that are not shared. We all have pieces of ourselves that we don't have to share with everyone around us. You and I, for example.
I
We
don't
may
hide
know.
anything.
I know, of course you don't. But we share a special friendship, I think, among the group. If you disagree, that's fine. But I believe that that's the case. And I think that everyone is entitled to share whatever they want with whoever they want, and to decline to do that. However, I just want to make sure that we also protect each other. So we need to be delicate about how we approach the topic of this with Helena.
delicate.
We don't want to push her to tell us anything that she does not want to, but we do want to do what's right.
Okay. Delicate is not my specialty. But I will try my best.
You will, of course, you will. That's all. I just wanted to kind of talk that out a little bit because I don't want us to come on too strong, and I feel like as a group we are a bit of the coming on strong type. So I just wanted to try to anticipate that.
Can you lead the way, and then I would just nod and smile, kind of, I guess.
Smile.
Yes.
Let's see a smile, Latreia.
Oh, I can't do it. Never mind. Can I just
That's
nod?
fine.
No, I just
Nod. Yes.
Oh, just nod.
Nodding is good. Nodding is
Okay.
very good. Are we able to find our dragons, Elisa?
Yeah, you would know where this hangout has been. I think actually yes, because grandmother did just say it out loud as well too. That they have their hangout on towards the western side of the island.
Our dragons are there also?
Yeah, all of the dragons congregate
Oh,
there.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Latreia, we're just hanging out with all the dragons.
Yeah.
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 So as we approach that area, before totally nearing all of the dragons, but once we're in, I guess, like earshot, I would like to kind of like, but with a good person who can whistle noise, and
was
not
better
whatever
than me.
I just did.
That was
So-
5 times better than me. I mean, I would. I would try to use the piano to do it because there's no way I could do it.
But that
I can't either. I can't
sound
whistle.
in general towards to kind of call our dragons over.
Okay. Which dragons? Leonid and
Leonid.
Snowroot?
Snowroot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leonid and Snowroot. Okay,
Mhm.
so Elliot, you do that perfect sounding whistle, and
Yes.
it carries over to the dragon ears on the other side of the island. Is this a sound that they know means come to us?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just let's just say that Snowroot and Leonid soon after you see them flying from the other side of the island in your direction, and they arrive to you.
I give some small little scritches behind the ear hole area, and just kind of pat and say, "Do you have a good hunt, darling?"
Yes, very. Found some very delicious sea animals to munch upon.
Good. Can I ask, the others up on the perch, are they all doing well?
Well, what do you mean by well?
Well, do they seem happy, I guess?
No.
Mm.
And Snowroot turns and says, Leonid.
Do you have food?
I toss another bag of granola
Okay,
at the tray.
There we go.
Snowroot says, we could have hunted for you too.
I wasn't ready for not having food. My stomach kind of, you just hear just and pretty much just sounds like somebody put like a subwoofer and upper two. It's like, oh yes, that helped a bit though. I wasn't ready for not having food, but thank you. And he looks over towards Elliot and he looks to Snowroot. Which, in comparison to others, he views her more like a sister than maybe like a kid. And then when he sees her, he says, "So are they like causing trouble, or what's happening there?"
Snowroot kind of like looks away for a second and says, "We're not supposed to like tell their business and stuff. This is dragon business." But Leonid says, "Oh, hush. These are our friends. These are our family. They can know." And Leonid says, "Yes, those other dragons, the ones that stay here all the time, some of them are really not happy, and they're kind of like they haven't been very kind to the others. They start fights. They also come and go as much as they please, which is dangerous because that could reveal where the island is. Even if people see dragons flying out over this part of the island, and it's a protected hidden island, won't that draw attention to it?"
Yes, I believe it would. We we want, but we would trust you on this. But we want to try to find a solution, a way to make them happier. Perhaps by finding some place they might like to live that is better.
And then Snowroot says, "I mean, you can try, but they're pretty territorial too."
So they're just hungry.
Is that what territorial means?
Kind of.
Territorial.
Kind of like you have this spot where you could be able to eat, and if somebody tries to enter your spot to be able to eat, then you kill them.
Then they're very hungry.
Makes sense. I would be the same if somebody tries to take it to my spot to take my food.
Latreia, it always comes back to hunger for you. Always. But we'll work on a solution. We'll find something. Just would you keep us up to date if something really does go wrong, or if you ever feel unsafe? You would tell us, wouldn't you?
Leonid says, "Yes, I'll keep you updated, Elliot. I'll let you know."
Wait,
Okay.
nobody tries to hurt you, right, Snowroot?
And Snowroot looks away. Doesn't say anything.
Oh, in that case, he kind of like steps forwards a bit, and she will let him. He'll kind of like leans his forehead against her nozzle, as a way, of course, to show kinship. And says, "You don't have to keep anything from me. I would if somebody's hurting you, I'll take care of it."
Go ahead and do maybe an animal handling roll.
Yes. Okay. First roll. Oh, and it's cocked, of course. There we go. 13. 13 plus 5 is 18.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she hears you say this, and she pulls away only to just look at you in the eye before she turns and shows you her flank, and there is a gash that looks. It looks like it's starting to heal, but it looks fairly fresh. And she says, "The one named Quince did that."
Elliot, you would notice this. There's definitely, even though his body is not like the full-on rage, where it's like he gets a little bit more animalistic. It's more of like the simmer rage, where his muscles tighten from that aspect. And as he looks towards her, he says, "Well, let me know. We'll talk to him. If he doesn't stop it, I will make sure they stop it."
And Elliot will kind of like lean down to like brush off a buckle and just kind of like Leonid in like a hushed tone. You know, Snowroot, And as Latreia is like a brother to me, Snowroot is like that to you. Will you please watch over her? I think that you're the tough one.
Always.
All right. And if you need anything, you tell me.
All right.
What about a break? We had a rough day. Would you like to maybe camp with us tonight? Maybe just under the stars. Maybe we don't need to be inside tonight.
I like that. More time outside, the better. Houses, me and houses don't get along that well, especially if my forehead meets the door.
And Snowroot looks really excited about when you mention that, and says, "I would like that. I would like that a lot."
All right. He looks toward. So they're normally used to, of course, riding on each other. He looks towards Ellie and be like, "You guys want to ride back, or just stroll back?"
Let's ride back.
Okay. He smirks. And he looks over towards Snowroot. Says, "Ready for a trip?"
Let's go.
All right. And of course, he'll scoop over, and then.
If you have a choice to ride back on a dragon, always.
Yeah.
Ride back on a dragon.
Yes.
Is that a choice?
Yeah, is it a choice?
Pretty much
Yeah.
a guarantee.
Yeah, so for dragon rides, for your companion dragons, I'm not going to have you all roll like animal handling because you have made an established bond with each of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ever want to do something beyond that, like have them do something specific, or if you want to ride one of the other dragons that you're not bonded with, then you would have to roll for that.
How about if I said to Leonid just now, why don't we make this a race?
Uh-huh.
Betrayal smirks. He was like, "It's about." You sure?
Leonid.
I'm ready.
Then I'm sure.
It's about to go down. And then he kind of like pats Snowroot. It's like, "You got this, sis. Let's go." And I guess we roll what? Animal handling to see how fast we can get him to go.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
no, Latrell has like such. Not Latrell. Ellie has such a huge advantage. We got this. We be the underdogs.
And yeah, just like whoever rolls higher
Oh my god.
wins.
Yeah, plus.
Dragon race.
23.
Dragon race.
Yep, that's a 5 with a dice. So that's 5 plus 6, 11. Yeah, I expected that.
I mean, it's understandable.
It's
Snowroot just
understandable.
has a wound
Yeah.
on his right side.
And
on her
he's
right
like
side.
9'5".
Yeah, he also
Yeah.
weighs. Yeah,
Like
oh,
Latreia is super heavy.
Yeah.
Like all of these things just does not
What?
do well with a race.
So
So
as the
pretty-
two of you are, you take off with your dragons, and Elliot, you and Leonid just like do this very cool arc in the sky, and then zip back over to the village. But Latreyu, you and Snowroot, just kind of like have that very slow rise. The way when you're in one of those really huge, I forget which Boeing like Airbuses, like the really huge airplanes, they feel like they take forever to take off because they're so freaking big. That's what it feels like on Snowroot's back. And then when you finally are in the sky and you turn around, you get partway back, and then Snowroot says, "Oh, look, what's that? Is that a manta ray?" And she just like veers off over the ocean.
Oh, food. Wait. Okay. It's okay. Well, I will lose. We'll bring back the Monterey for food. maybe the grandma could cook it. Let's go. You got this.
Yeah, so you Snowroot just dives down and just plucks the manta ray out of the ocean.
Wow! And they try to hurt. If they could see what you've done here, they understand you're one of the best ones around. And he kind of like looks at the manta ray like that was one shot.
Yeah, well, she has a manta ray in her mouth, but she's like happily nodding, happily nodding and flapping her wings.
And then he says, I know your mouth is full, but when we get down, I'm gonna have to maybe ask if I need a diet because I may weigh a little bit too much.
And then with that, you head back towards the village to catch up with Elliot and Leonid. Okay. So now let's pick back up with Avis and Jesse.
Jesse has been Jesse at this point in time is close by the fire, and he is sort of like laid with his back against Jackson. And in my head canon, at night Jackson is reading and studying because he doesn't get the chance during the day. So Jackson's in my head canon is way smarter than Jesse. So he's probably like going through all of like grandmother's Druid 101 books, and he's like maybe has little dragon glasses on or something.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And Jesse looks to Avis and says, now, normally I wouldn't want to wake the kids or anything, but I kind of feel like putting some music on or something. I don't know if you want to play something, but I don't know. I guess I'm just antsy. The others are out there doing stuff. Should we do something? Should we go do something? Do you want to play some music? Do you want to dance? Basically, I just need to do something, brother. What are we doing?
Down. There's time to do anything and everything. Ultimately, it depends on what you want. I can create a space where sound does not escape temporarily, but it is only good for as long as you truly need the song. I understand that today was a bit difficult, especially for you. I understand what it's like to have your home invaded. But how are you doing?
I've been good. Honestly, I'm just more worried about Helena. She's real torn up and sad about whatever's been going on. But she said she didn't know what that fellow was talking about, and she seemed pretty earnest about that. So I tend to believe her. It's just one of those things. I feel like tomorrow we can see about going and speaking to the healer and see if we can get a few answers. I haven't really formulated any questions just yet, but maybe we can get Helen and do one of them. Where was I going with this? Basically, I'm always good. I'd hope she's good. You've known her a lot longer than I have, though. What do you think of this whole business?
I think she will be okay eventually. She's a kind soul that seeks peace, and I'm afraid that in this world, the only way to find peace is through conflict, and she hasn't quite gotten used to the conflict part yet.
It's the only way stuff gets it back out to the sea is if the tide leaves. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to bring that tide in. In my mind, whoever these fellas are that mistaken Helena for somebody else, we got to go set the record straight or find out what they're up to and stop it. Otherwise, it's just going to keep on happening no matter where she is.
Yes, I agree. You do have to find this lonely one and put an end to whatever it is that they are doing. I imagine they are not quite the benevolent type, especially since they are controlling the Yuan Ti. It is very interesting indeed.
You want tea. One T. Feels weird in the mouth.
Jackson
One
picks his
T.
head up and says, Yuan Ti. It's pronounced Yuan Ti. And then puts his head back down into the book.
You
Thank
see,
you,
now I
Jackson.
don't tell the others, but that's why you're my favorite. And he gives him a little kiss in the neck.
Jackson winks.
There will be time to deal with all of our problems. I have a feeling that they will come together. Stories have a way of wrapping themselves up neatly as long as we are willing to continue moving forward.
I think so. I think that's, it's going to be good. And hey, Jackson, I wanted to ask you as well. When we do take off tomorrow, are you going to be staying around on the island, or are you coming along on this one?
Mm. Well, I find the island to be a bit boring. I've read almost all of the books here, and there's not much else to discover here. So, I would like to come with you.
You are always welcome. I mean, I know your little brother and sisters are going to miss you, but we'll be back. We always are.
I'm sure they'll manage just fine without me. I don't bother myself with their affairs anyway.
James looks up to you, even though technically speaking, you might be younger than him, but it's difficult with you guys because, like, you've got a full on brain going on there, man. I mean, James is just, he's a little more than a toddler right now, but still, it's I don't know. Age is a weird thing for me. It's always like most people here in the island definitely age differently than I do. I think like Brand is like what, I don't know, 200 and something. Is He's old, but I guess maybe he's not that old.
Yes, I guess it is. It is all relative, isn't it? This age, the concept of age. I'm a young dragon. I'm probably about. Uh, I mean, compared to the others, I'm slightly older than some, but yes. Let's see. I'm 10 years old, and many of the others are around 7. But and then there's a couple that are 11 and 12. So I'm in the middle technically.
You know,
But I'm not the oldest, but perhaps I am the wisest. So age doesn't always mean you are the wisest.
that is true. They, you know, I don't know if we've ever asked this, Avis. I don't know if you've ever asked this, but because y'all are just family anyway. But do you know what happened to your mama or your papa? I mean, I don't know what happened to mine. I just washed up here one day as a baby, but it's one of those things.
Jackson closes the book, puts a bookmark in carefully first, and then closes the book that he was reading and kind of sits up to face you more directly. Well, I do remember when I was a wormling. We were on the run for as long as I could remember, since I was a baby. And one of my earliest memories was of my mother and father fighting valiantly against the Red Lance cultists and being defeated.
Do you think we've seen the last of those people?
It's
Well, it,
never last to any people, I'm afraid. There will always be someone who picks up their mantle for their own reasons.
they were very cunning because they killed off all of the adults first, so that we, as wormlings, were not able to fully protect ourselves. But now, I,
Well,
that is a good question. I would hope so. It seems that you have defeated the last of them when you found us 2 years ago. But if there should be a resurgence, then hopefully it will be when we are old enough to defend ourselves against them.
well,
As long as you all work together, you will be fine, I can assure you. It is the unity is the only way to face any true problem.
You should tell that to some of the dragons.
You know, we've been hearing a whole lot about that. I think we'll probably, when we go up tomorrow, we'll probably try and have a talk with everyone. Do any of you remember where it was that y'all originally came from? Maybe the others want to go back there. We can try get them there.
I only have memories of certain smells on the way there, certain landmarks, certain curves of the landscape. I do not remember the name of where we're from, but I think perhaps we could find it if we took our time and used our senses.
Want to?
I would like that. I would like to visit home sometime. Yes, I would. And Jackson, you realize Jackson hasn't ever really considered this and is turning over this thought of returning home someday and starting to like it more and more.
Well, where that may be, I hope this will never not be your home too.
You are very kind and very wise, Jesse Diaz. As are you, Avis Nokwani.
A wise man is not but a fool that has lived long enough to learn he is a fool.
Now that I agree with. And he may be wise, but Jackson, you forgot to call him handsome too. Now, that is just impolite.
I forgot to call you handsome. I'm so sorry. You are very handsome, Avis.
There we go. That's a good boy.
For a humanoid.
I accept your words. They are very kind.
You're very handsome too, Jackson.
Thank you.
We are
Jackson
very
kind of smirks
handsome.
in a dragony way.
Now, you mentioned you've already read through all of your books. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm just making my way through this last set of druid training books. Very interesting. Oh, I've read about there's not much about Asimar's, but it seems that when you arrived, they found some books so that they could raise you, Jesse, and know about who you are. Question for you, Jesse. Reading about Asimar's, the bit that is in here, and I look at your children. Do you know if they are also Asimar, or what are your children?
Well, I feel like it's going to be one of those things that time will tell, because, I mean, technically speaking, Elle was a half elf. Asmar, so they're at least part Asmar, but I don't know how this stuff works. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I feel like we're just kind of born knowing, right? Like, nobody ever needed to teach me how to speak Celestial. It's just one of those things that I know how to do, and I know how to read, and that's why I like. That's why I taught you, because honestly, Draconic, just I can't get my head around like the sounds, and my mouth just doesn't work that way. I've tried, but honestly, it's bad. I could probably say where's the bathroom, but that's about it. Um, but I don't know. I feel like if there's a spark out there, then the kids will get it, uh, or maybe they won't. I don't know how it works. I've heard that, like, with tieflings at least, that it's kind of like it can be, uh, what's the word for it? I'm looking for, oh gosh, where it's like inherited, like dominant, right? Dominant.
Oh yes, recessive and dominant. Recessive genes versus, I believe it is dominant genes. Yes.
Yeah, I think like tieflings are supposed to be more dominant when it comes to that, but I think Asmar might be the opposite. Was that the recessive one?
Recessive, yes.
So who knows?
I guess
I'll have
time
to
will
ask
tell.
Kaius, actually. I mean, she's got to know some about this too, but or maybe she doesn't. Honestly, I think maybe looking for the two of us for history and lore lessons about our people might be barking up the wrong tree. But speaking of us, shall we go find everyone else?
I imagine so. If my theory is correct, Ice is probably no longer drunk and is probably very unhappy about that.
Well, I mean, I can fix that. Elwa. And he's gonna stand up and go find her because he's not like, come over here, woman. He's like he's calling her and he's walking towards her. And he'll come up behind her and give her a bit of a hug. Baby, you got that any of that good stuff left over from that we brought last time we were around?
Which good stuff?
I'm talking about the good stuff. It was like that. I don't know. What did that dwarf call it? It's something like fire whiskey or something along those lines.
Yes. I saved a bottle for it.
Thank you,
And
baby.
she goes into the kitchen cabinet to go grab it, pulls out this bottle of fire whiskey, dwarven fire whiskey, and shows it to you.
Now, that is about half as beautiful as you are. Speaking of beautiful, when are you taking off again? Because I mean, I know we just got back, but you got any trips planned coming up?
No, I've been enjoying just staying by and practicing druid things with grandmother. It's been nice spending time with the children. I don't have any trips planned. Why do you ask?
Well, I think we're going to be heading out a lot sooner than I anticipated. Try and fix whatever is going on with this person that was trying to kill Helena, or I'm not sure. But usually I like to be back for at least a year at a time, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that way this time.
Well, if you need to leave again to prevent something from coming to us, then do that. But make sure when you come back, you stay for a while. Because we all miss
Oh,
you.
I miss you too, baby. And he gives her a kiss in the head. Now, if I was a lesser man, I might say something along the lines of, "Oh, if I'm not here, how are you going to take care of yourself?" But we all know you could kick my ass. So I don't need to worry about the kids at all.
We'll be all right. Tomorrow morning, Lomish and Siva will come back, and and the rest of us will be here too. Now,
All
Jesse, you recognize the names Lomesh and Siva.
right.
Lomesh and Siva are a brother and sister pair who are basically the protectors of the island when you all aren't around. You've known them for a long time. You've known them since you were children, since you were very small children. They are both sea elves, and yeah, they've come to be known as the kind of like the sheriffs of the island, but they've been away for a short trip while you've been here.
Well, probably talk to him in the morning then. All right.
Speaking of which, and Eloa yawns, I'm going to go to bed. I don't know about you all. I am exhausted.
Sleep well, baby. I'll be in a bit later. We probably gotta square some things up with the rest of everyone.
All right. Good night. She hands
Love
you the
you.
fire whiskey. Love you too. And
Takes
she
a bottle.
turns and goes
Holds
off to
out
go
an
to bed.
arm for Avis, shall we?
Mind if I do? And he will take the arm.
Walk out to try find the others.
Okay. So, you let's say you all. It sounds like you all kind of have been about to meet back up outside of the Diaz home. Is that right, Helen and Ice? Is that whereabouts you would be as well?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because you were
assume so.
heading
Just
back.
because
Yeah.
we called Tree Bush. I don't know if Tree Bush has already come to us, but we're heading towards where I know them to be, which is in the DS zone.
Okay. Um, yeah. So uh, you called to Treebush, and yeah, let's say that Treebush has now met up with the rest of you all six of you, outside of the Diaz home. The tree bush kind of floats down to the ground gently and walks up next to you, Helena. Are you?
Did you have a Did you
are
have
you
a good
okay?
time?
Oh, I did.
Well,
You
that's
kind of
good.
talk together at the same time. You both do that a lot.
Yeah. Um. Oh well. Are you full? Did you
Well,
eat a lot?
oh yeah, I ate plenty, but you look very sad. Are you okay?
I'm flustered and upset
Flustered?
and
Upset?
annoyed
No,
and
annoyed.
scared.
Why are you
And we will
scared?
talk about it later.
I'm not okay with that. Okay?
We will talk about it later. I'm gonna assume that Treebush knows a little bit of what she's afraid of, but not 100%. So
Mm-hmm.
that's so. But it's a secret. We'll talk about it later. Not in company.
Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna forget, so don't you forget to tell me later.
I won't. It'll be okay.
She tries to dragon whisper,
She,
which is not
she's
very
whispering
good whispering.
really loud too. So the whole people like she's not very smart. But she's whispering loudly.
Yes.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about it later.
Treebush tries to also whisper, but dragons can't. This dragon, at least, cannot whisper very well. So you both are loud whispering in front of everyone else.
Yeah, that's about right.
You know we can hear you, right?
No, you can't.
Oh, okay. No, I lied to you.
No, we can't. And Jesse's gonna lean up against us and just offer the bottle. I assume you woke up a little too sober, so
Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm.
he'll take
It's
a
good
swig
that
as well.
everyone is together now. How are we feeling?
Jesse, I'm curious. I'm glad you have whiskey to spare, but do you have any? I don't know. Do we have any wine on this island?
Probably. I mean, we can get wine.
Just a thought.
Let, let me run back to the house quick. I won't be a sec because he real fast. So he hands the bottle back to Ice of whiskey and he's gonna monk it inside, find some I don't know sea elf wine and come back.
The elf wine. Yep.
Yep.
You do that, Jesse, and then you also, on your way back to them, you remember that you have a friend who likes to stay up late in their house. And this friend is called Montre. Montre is a sea elf that is just a little bit younger than you. Remind me how old Jesse is? You said 30, I think, right?
36.
Yeah, 36. Okay, so Montre is like 31. Another childhood friend, but you were kind of like the older cool kid, with Montre kind of tagging along behind you.
If y'all want, we can go hang out at my friend's house. He'll be up. Even if he's not, I'll wake him up, and then we can do some planning and some drinking there. Because I know that even though grandmother has made some food for you, Latreia, and you can probably get that if you want to go back inside quick. It's on the table. The rest of them will be sleeping.
So Latreia is in mid chewing of the manta ray that both him and Snowroot is currently eating at the moment, and so he just kind of looks up. He's like,
just straight up eating it raw.
Yeah, oh yeah, straight raw. And he just looks over. He's like, more, and then he looks over to Snowroot and says, "There's more food."
Grandmother at this point steps outside the doorway, which is you're probably like 20 feet from the entrance of the house, and she steps out and says, "Oh, don't leave just yet. I have a big pot of rice and beans. By the way, my sea elves are totally Caribbean, so they make rice and beans. There's a big pot of I have a huge pot of rice and beans. You have to eat this. It's late, and I made it for you."
Oh, he's comment. Yeah, yes.
Eat. You eat. You want to eat?
And then he kind of like makes his way over, makes his way over side, kind of course, do the classic. Bending his head underneath the door handle so his forehead doesn't collide against the top of the frame, and he follows his grandma over across this. Look at the beans and the rice.
Yep. So you come back over into the house, cross into the kitchen, and you see, oh my God, my Puerto Ricans, this is for you. One of those giant pots of arroz con gandules, y'all. It's huge. You can't see my arms. It's like you can't see my arms. It's bigger than my arms. It's huge. She's been working on this for like a couple of hours because it takes a long time to cook, and so it's finally done. And she brings you in. She has a big ass metal spoon. You know what I'm talking about, Puerto Ricans. And she just brings you and she stirs it up at the bottom. She's like, here, there's gonna be some pegado. These are total Puerto Rican sea elves. There's gonna be some pegado at the bottom, so just
I'm
make sure
here
you
for all of this.
get it. Cultural D&D with Lisa.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, now I'm hungry. I'm hungry in real life now. Like, is Uber Eats available? Let me go take a look.
I might have to order some arroz con gandules. So she stirs this huge pot of the rice and peas, and just like she's like, it's pretty heavy, and of course it's not going to be heavy for you, Latreia.
Can can I take whole thing?
Yeah, yes, it's for you. It's for you.
Thank you. Hey, he just bends down and just big up the entire bowl. He's like, so no share.
It's
Share.
up to you.
Okay.
If anyone else wants some, then you maybe should offer. But there's a lot. There's a lot.
He looks down.
Will you
he
still
says,
be hungry if you eat this whole thing?
Elliot is
Depends.
just nodding.
Depends.
He will be. Yeah.
Then this is just for you. Why don't you just take this? This is yours.
Thank you. And he just kind of makes his way down, and you just pretty much, I mean, he doesn't even sit down to eat. He pretty much just walks by. His hand is like chewing inside the bowl as he makes his way out the door.
His entire face is
Yeah,
in
the bowl he chews and he makes his way back outside. He's like, so good. And he just goes
There's
back.
There's like pieces of rice like
Yeah.
stuck all
Oh,
over
yes.
his face.
Oh yes, and he has no food etiquette at all. So like all of it is braids, all of across his cheek. There's just rice and beans just stuck in there. He doesn't care at all.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm lucky I was an athletic, kind of precocious little kid. Otherwise, I'd be a big boy because grandmother can cook. It's anyway. Enjoy. Shall we go drink a little bit and talk?
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Though, give me one moment. I figure it would be rather rude of me if I did not do. And he will hold out his hand, and four small black orbs of light will appear before coalescing into what looks to be like a humanoid shape and float off into the air. And he will say, I imagine that Yuki would join us if she's inclined. That would just let her know where we are. I suppose anyone else as well.
Okay. All right. So, Jesse, are you leading the group over to your friend's house now?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
right,
I
so this is
imagine it's that kind of relationship where he'll walk into my house and I might not even be there, and then I arrive home to see that he's made coffee and he's enjoying himself, and it'll be the same kind of thing where like I would just be at his house randomly at different times.
All right, cool. So, so you head over to the house, and after a few minutes of walking in the nice quiet of the Sea Elf village, you arrive at Montre's house.
So Jesse just opens up the door like, now I hope you're not sleeping because you know what the rules are.
You open the door and no, they're not sleeping. What you see does surprise you though, because you see Montre sitting there with two young dragons, Rosebud and Quince. And with that, we're gonna take our break. Here.
Switch. Oh, okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah. so we're going to go ahead and take our break. I was not ready for that. Curveball of the century. So I hope you all are enjoying our stream. If you would like to talk about our content, of course, you could, of course, use the hashtag Lords of Faerun. We would love to see it on Twitter. And, of course, you can join our Discord, which I'll put in chat below. We have a section particularly for Lords of Faerun, meant for spoilers, non-spoilers, fan art, so forth and so on. And we look forward to talk to you all about this fantastic campaign. And we'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. So see you all soon for our second half. All right, we're back for the second half of Lords of Faerun. Aliza, take it away.
All right. So, before the break, you had just opened the door on Montre's house. Montre is a childhood friend of Jesse, a little bit younger than him. And you open the door and you see Montre and a couple of other friends floating around. Looks like a small party. But what's most stunning to you all is that you see two young dragons, young white dragons, Rosebud and Quince, in this house with Montre.
I'm so happy we came at the right time.
As the
Just-
door opens, I'm so sorry. But as the door opens, I would just like to look at Snowroot and just see if Snowroot has any sort of visible reaction. I don't say anything though.
Same here. I was thinking the same.
Yep. You all will notice that Snowroot has actually backed up just instinctively backed up a couple of feet and then stops herself. I think Snowroot's a she.
Yeah, Snowroot's a she.
Yeah. Okay. She stops herself, but then she just kind of like sits on her haunches as if she's like, I'm not going in there. She's like, no, I'm cool.
Noted. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt Jesse with that.
That was pretty much all. Jesse's just strolling and he's happy to see there's a party.
So
Ice would like to lean down to a tiny dragon who is sitting on haunches and go, now, why you sit down? Why you not want to go inside? You look like you mad about something.
Turns her head back and forth just like this.
You know, sometimes it's good to face problem head on if you have one. Show problem who is boss. You are boss dragon, no? You look fierce. You should be boss dragon. Channel boss dragon energy.
Boss dragon energy?
Yes, it's good for you, I promise.
She stops wagging her head, but now she's just like staring into the house. And Montre, the door opens. Montre sees Jesse first and the party behind him. Jesse! Oh, that dinner tonight. I mean, can you believe? You all look like you're all in one piece, so I guess you handled that serpent thing. That was wild. How did it even find us? We're in a protected island. Like, come on.
Well, hopefully we'll figure that out tomorrow. We were actually coming around here to have a few drinks and do some talking. Actually, just figure out what our next steps are going to be. And he will he gives friend a big hug, and then he will also give the two other dragons a big hug because he has no idea that there may or may not be a problem. He'd be like, now I hope you two have been enjoying yourself this evening as well.
So Rosebud and Quince are these dragons. You said you hug them.
Yeah, Jesse hugs everybody.
I'm gonna have you roll for that.
Sure, roll for hugs. Gonna make a grappling check.
Roll for hugs. Make it an
Violent hug.
opposed
Will
grappling
they
check roll.
will they hug me back?
And I
Fight
actually,
me.
I might give you disadvantage on this too.
Oh my goodness. What should I roll?
You're gonna roll animal handling.
Animal handling. Can I make a case for athletics?
Are you trying to jump them?
Because Jesse doesn't necessarily see them as animals; he just sees them as part of the community.
You could even use charisma. I would say, if you're trying to approach and hug a stranger who is potentially dangerous, what would you use for that? I don't know if, I mean, I guess athletics.
I feel like Jesse doesn't consider anyone dangerous until they've proven themselves dangerous to him.
Okay.
That
okay,
sounds.
go-
That
All
sounds right.
Then how about this? I will say yes, use athletics, but you have to flavor it narratively for me that you're trying to do some kind of weird, cool athletic hug or greeting of them.
I mean, he's probably gonna do like the big brother, the sort of like tackle dive at the same time, like get them around the neck and give them like a big hug on the shoulders.
Yes.
But
that
I will
works.
still roll the disadvantage because they're unhappy teenagers right now apparently.
They're unhappy mad dragons.
And in our private chat, I clarified the size of these dragons because I know we've been talking about them indoors a lot. These dragons are young size, which is technically large, but I'm also saying just because of this particular sect and species of dragon are kind of our own. We kind of like made our own dragons here. We're saying they're on the smaller side of large.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, you can imagine they do fit inside buildings and things like
Nice.
that. But yet they're also strong enough for some of you to ride. Latreia is kind of like a 50-50.
We'll
So
see.
that would be an 18 for a big brother, arms across the
Okay.
shoulder, tackle dive around the shoulders of both of them at the same time.
Okay, so yes, you successfully do this, and they at first Rosebud kind of like flinches but doesn't fully move and lets you tackle her, and Quince doesn't move, sees you coming, but also has kind of like a okay kind of look on his dragon face.
Like, who is this person hugging me so much?
Awkward.
Looks like they are
We got the B girls. We got the B girls.
happy
Okay.
people. How's everyone
So yeah,
doing
I
today?
imagine you have your arms around the necks of both of these dragons and like kind of dangling almost between them. Post
Oh yeah.
tackle hug.
So just to clarify, do we recognize these individuals as Quinn and Rosebud, or do we not 100% certain which ones they are?
You would know, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, and also for not to give away any Patreon stuff, if you'd like to see a little bit of the backstory on these particular dragons and how this party met them and befriended them, go to our Patreon and watch that our session 0.5, because that's how they meet these dragons. So yes, you would, you all have like bonded to particular dragons yourselves one on one, but then you know that like it's like these are their cousins and they're brothers and sisters. They're co like refugee baby dragons. So yeah, you would know them as family members of your good friend dragons. You would probably know them by name for sure. Yeah.
So there is a when he sees Clint there, and then he notices Snowroot hesitation regarding seeing Quinn. He
Quince,
kind of,
yeah.
yeah. He'll look towards Snowroot, kind of like leans his head against her side of her cheek per se, almost like two wolves within the same pack as a sign of comfort. But there is a slight growl, just a little bit, hum, from towards Quince when he sees Quince before he kind of like self-regulates, because there still is that internal anger that Snowroot was injured. And
Yeah.
then he looks towards Snowroot and says, "If you want to stay out here, I'll be with you. If you want to go inside, we'll go inside."
Snowroot slightly nods, acknowledging what you said, but hasn't stopped staring into the house.
Mm.
And having just watched Jesse tackle hug these two dragons. I'm gonna just roll something real quick.
Oh, okay.
Oh
okay.
dear.
Oh dear.
A,
Okay.
a question, and this is also sort of a DM and also a flavoring kind of thing here for people. Jesse is intentionally disarming at the best of times because he all about that insight. So he's always passively taking people's things. My passive insight is 17, so I don't know if I got any vibes
Yeah.
from my little brothers and sisters when I gave them a squeeze around the shoulders.
So I just rolled, just FYI, I just rolled a vibe check, which was really just a perception check on that growl to see if the either of the dragons noticed it. They both did not notice the growl, Latreia. They could have heard it because they have good hearing, but they did not this time. But yes, so speaking of vibe checks, Jesse, with your passive perception, you absolutely are picking up when you open the door and they see you, they do become kind of like standoffish and cold. But you sense, even just from the body language of them sitting here, that they're very comfortable here. This is like their stomping ground as well.
Now,
Oh.
Jesse will look to the both of them and he will say, "Now, sorry to barge in like this, Montre. I know you were having a good time here and all, but we've been hearing that maybe some of y'all might be a little bit antsy." And he's looking to the two of them. Now, I understand being antsy, but if you need to talk about something, we talk about something. Okay, it's your home too. If you need to be somewhere else, well, that's something we got to figure out for you too. So, tell me what's up. Jess is here. By the way, Ice, you got that fire whiskey? Ice, can you hear me?
Yes, Ice hears you, but she pretends not to hear you, and she goes, "Fire whiskey."
I guess wine then. Elliot, you got the wine.
Yes. I would like a. Are we drinking with glasses, or are we? Is it this kind of an evening?
So fancy, Mantra. You got glasses.
Oh, absolutely. Well, glasses, other types of receptacles to drink out of. Sure, shells, the usual.
Yeah.
And he goes over to his cupboard and pulls out lots of different things that you can drink out of. And it actually, you all would, anyone who has stepped inside at this point, which I think is probably not everyone, you can let me know in a second if you have stepped in fully.
I am still. Elliot is still hanging in the doorway. Just to read. Just to try to get a better handle on both Snowroot and Leonid's disposition, but is like kind of in the doorway area.
Okay. Yeah.
Helena has
So-
no clue about what's going on. Treebush hasn't told her anything. I don't know if Treebush knows, but Helena doesn't have a clue. She just walks in and just sort of plops down, sees Jesse tackle hug these two dragons, and just sort of like smiles a little bit and looks at Treebush and is fully inside the house. But that's pretty
Okay.
much what Helena is doing. And does Treebush knows anything, or is
Yeah. So
okay?
Treebush, what you noticed is that when you walked in, Treebush definitely followed you in and kind of like stood halfway between the door and further into the room where the two dragons are, the two other dragons. You, as you're getting comfortable, you would notice that Tree Root is kind of like sitting on their haunches and did I say Tree Root? Tree Bush. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Tree Bush is sitting on her haunches and just kind of like trying to look casual, just kind of glancing over at the two other dragons in the corner, but also kind of looking at you and just looking around the room. You also would notice that the other two dragons are pretending not to see her.
Okay, cool. So I reach out and sort of just rub Treebush, just you know that.
Uh,
That's
Yeah.
Latrell is going to do what he believes heals all wounds. People say it's time, but not in Latrell's mind. It's food. So he's going to bring over the giant bowl of rice and beans and then present it. Even though he did say it was, the grandma did say it was only specifically for him to kind of like help with Snow Root. He's going to like lean forward, says, "You want to share?" You got like, I would say you got like a third way through because I'm presuming the walk isn't down, so there's still pretty sure a lot of rice. So he'll present the bowl and see if she wants to share.
Yeah. Sorry, who are you presenting the bowl to?
Oh, Snow Root.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Snow Root does like dip her beak into the rice and beans and starts munching on it.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll show that as like a sign of solidarity. But I'll still keep an eye out for everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Elliot and Jesse, and if anyone else would like to have, oh, and Helena, and anyone else who would have liked to fully come in. Now that you're fully in, you see that this is definitely like a party with, the two dragons, Montre, and a few other friends. So there's like 6-ish people, including the dragons here, having a very chill hangout. There's some soft music playing from a shell, like magically, just some music emanating from that. There's lots of cups and glasses around. There's also some like potions and some other things you would recognize as like kind of like drug things.
Much approval.
The local weed here is called sea brush, and there's sea brush.
In Sylvan, I say, Latreia, before you eat anything, just let's look at it first. But just, I'm not saying don't eat anything.
please don't get high, Latreia.
But just before you do.
Wait, what did you say? I should eat everything? I just heard that. Thank
Jesse
you.
just hands her a little potion.
Wait, that was in Sylvan though, right? Or was that
In Sylvan? That was in Sylvan. It was in Sylvan.
Either way, Jesse side hands her a little potion.
He kind of looks up and he says, "Okay."
He's a sailor, man.
And then he goes right back down to the bowl, like really confused about that, but like looking before eating. Okay. And then back to the bowl he dives in. Contact high is coming.
Looks like you all were having a bit of a party here without us. I did not mean to interrupt.
Oh, please, no, come in. Montre just like ushers you all in fully. And all of you out there too. Come on. We can fit those dragons in here too. Let me just move some furniture around. He moves like a couch to the corner, just clears out a large space so that everyone can fit. And if you'd like, you can, whoever would like to fully enter can enter.
Sure.
He will only enter if Snow Roots enter. If Snow Roots decides to stay outside, he'll stay outside. So it depends upon her.
How do Quince and Rosebud react to what Jesse said to them?
Quince and Rosebud definitely heard it and noticed, and are listening and watching. And Rosebud is at an angle where she can actually see further out the door than Quince, and she spots Snowroot finally, and just makes like a turns her head towards Quince and starts whispering. And then the two of them are kind of whispering to each other.
The loud whisper that dragons do.
Yeah, that's why earlier I was like, this dragon loud whispers. Not all dragons loud whisper.
Okay.
our-
just
our
making
sweetie
sure.
pie.
Treebush does not know how to whisper, but
Yes.
other dragons do. Okay.
Some dragons do, some don't. Yeah. So yeah, they are actually whispering.
Okay. So just as an eyebrow raised and is like, I mean, teenagers. Anyway, so y'all, now we're here. We got some drinks, Montre. Thank you for your amazing home as always. I have a few suggestions. Tomorrow, I was thinking we could go and speak to the healer. They might be able to sort of help us get some answers from the mother. A few things. It's usually this is just more kind of like a yes or no answer that you can get. So, and there's about three things you get to ask. So I was wondering, what do y'all think might be good questions? Personally, I want to ask is, did the mother intentionally let those folks find the island?
Well, this is a good question, but are you sure that you need to know the answer?
Yeah, I think so. Because usually when I get those little warnings, it's kind of a it's whoever's out there hasn't given themselves a name yet, giving me like a little, hey, this is important for you. You got to do this thing. So
Then I suggest that because the first question, is there anything else that we all wish to know?
Elliot has just by the way has had one glass of wine and is now, like I am at every party, on the floor talking to the dragons. And is kind of not really paying attention to the humanoid things, and is instead trying to like get some insights there.
Which dragons are you talking to? The two in the corner?
Yes. Rosebud and Quince. Quincy or Quince?
Quince.
Quince.
Like the fruit, quince.
Quince. Got it. And his just kind of like I know we don't get to talk very often, because you live up there, up in the sky, up on the perch. But I would like to know you better. I would love to. How do you like it here?
I'm gonna have you roll.
Yeah. Great.
I think this is charisma of some kind, maybe like even persuasion.
Okay, all right, I'll do it. I'll take that. I'll take persuasion.
And at disadvantage.
Okay. Oh, dang.
Oh no. Oh,
It's a big difference. Okay. 12. The other one was gonna be like a 30.
Oh wow. Wow, that's a big difference. Okay.
So, all right, but 12.
Okay. So you say these words to the two dragons who have been whispering, and they turn towards you. And can you repeat your question, actually?
Yep. Do you like it here?
Quint says, I think I would like it more if people weren't always bothering us. Just let us, always yelling at us, telling us not to fly here, not to fly there. And then the other dragons are goody two-shoes and they just want to follow what the sea elves say. But I'm not a sea elf. Why should I listen to them? Why should I listen to you?
That's fair. Honestly. That's a fair question. So then, what about going somewhere where there are no sea elves? Maybe somewhere where there are no humanoids to tell you what to do. I don't have a place in mind, of course, but I know it exists.
Are you proposing something?
I'm just saying, we travel a lot. We find places and we see places, and if we come across something that might give you the freedom you lack here, we could let you know and just tell you about it. I know that we're not close or anything, but I do not like the idea that you are not able to be your truest selves here. That does not make me happy.
And Rosebud chimes in and says, you know, that's nice of you to say, but you all didn't give us really much of a choice. Like, you brought us to this island, and you know, yeah, you saved our lives from those cultists or whatever, but like, what's keeping us here now?
No, nothing, truthfully. Not that I know of.
Well, the other dragons want to stay, but we don't want to. We, you know what it is? We would have wanted to stay, but they don't want to live by our rules, and we don't want to live by theirs. That's the problem.
Well, I find it hard to disagree with that. I think that you are dragons. You should be able to find some place to live the way that you would like to, if that's what you would like to do. I would like it. We have things that feel very pressing. Somebody attacked us recently, and we will deal with that. But in our journey, perhaps we can look for something that will be better for you.
Make it somewhere cold. I like the cold. I miss the cold.
The cold.
Quint says, I miss the cold too. I miss it a lot. Maybe that's why I'm so annoyed with being here. It's too hot.
It is. It's quite hot here. All right. The cold. And it's like very like taking just downing his wine. Cold. Excellent. Cold place with no rules. Dragons can do what they like. I feel like I have a pretty good idea. I'm going to keep my eye out for something. I believe it's there. There's something out there that will be cold and free and good. And I'm sorry that you're not happy here. We will work on that.
Let me just say that I either am the person that Elliot is the party right now, or I'm usually the person talking to the person that Elliot is the party right now. On the floor, like there's a whole group of people, but it's like a small conversation.
Yeah, very. I just want to ask you one thing.
Yeah.
I will try to do this. I will do this to the best of my ability, and I will do it as quickly as possible. But I would like to just gently, humbly beg that you try not to injure any of the other dragons. I know that maybe you might not have meant it that way, but She's fairly gashed.
Quince says, "Oh, oh, you're talking about Snowroot. You talking about Snowroot? Is that what you're talking about?"
Yes, I'm a little bit worried about that.
Well, we had a fight and I won. That's what happened. And she was in my space and she shouldn't have been. That's what happened.
Noted. Okay. All right.
And Rosebud says, you're the first person who's ever said sorry for bringing us here, or sorry that we're unhappy, or whatever you said. You're the first person who said sorry to us. Thank you for that.
You're welcome, frankly. None of us belong here either. So, well, except for Jesse. But I understand to a degree. So I mean that. And I will talk to Snowroot about boundaries. And I will leave you to your conversation. And Elliot gets up and does a little like, oh, I drank several glasses of wine while on the floor, and that's what that feels like. And finds a place to sit among the group quietly.
Okay.
So what do you think, Helena? What kind of question would you want to ask?
I don't know. Honestly, there's a lot of questions that I'd rather not be answered. So I'm more of the let's not ask too much sort of position here.
How about, I have a suggestion. What if we ask for a second question? If we leave it alone, will these folks still keep coming after you?
They will always keep coming after me. They've had this obviously wrong idea that I am the person that they're looking for, but I'm not. I'm totally not, and they still keep coming. The reason why I travel and keep moving is because I don't want to be found by them. And I know if we leave it alone, they will still find me. And that's why I think the best move here is to keep moving.
Ice kind of slides in behind Jesse, so Jesse cannot see, but Helena can while she's talking about this. And she just goes, "Remember, we got you." And she holds up cup of water and starts tapping the water again. Back down.
Helena laughs. I'm gonna say Helena laughs really hard, and was just like, ah, "You're funny, Ice. This is why we are friends."
I'm afraid that you can't run forever. Because eventually problems must be solved. I think that's the correct phrase. If we don't solve them, then they continue to grow like a weed.
Avis, you know why I'm running. Of all of the people here, you understand more of why I'm running.
Many things. But we must solve our problems eventually.
Anyway, Treebush, how have you been doing?
I'm gonna take that Helena wishes to steer away from that conversation. So in terms of that, why don't we think up two other questions we can ask? I did have a thought. Is it possible to help those Yuan-Ti? Damn it, Jackson's at home. Those snake people. I'm sorry, I have trouble making my mouth say that word. You want tea. I'm gonna work on that. Is it possible to help them and keep Helena safe at the same time.
Yes, it could be. The ally of your. No, it's not right. The opponent of your opponent is your ally, I think, is the phrase in common. Yes. Um, that perhaps you can strike up some sort of alliance or truce with them, though I'm afraid I don't know how to find or talk to them.
That's true. Any other ideas on another question? We would only get 3.
Can you repeat that last part? Find or talk to whom?
The Wanti.
Got it.
Well, we can add about. Do we know more about this? Is there anything else we need to know about this lonely person? Uh, if it is wise to find them, perhaps, or if finding them is even necessary, perhaps there's a different way of solving this problem.
That's a good question. So, because they can all be yes or no things. So, do we need to find the lonely one? That sound about right?
No. Helena goes, like whispers to herself, no, 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 no. But I think only Treebush can hear it. I think.
And another question. I thought maybe we could leave tomorrow after we get all this question business done. Do y'all want to take the boat out, or are we gonna ask our lovely friends to give us a ride?
It's fine with me either way, though it has been quite a bit since Yuki and I have gotten to stretch our wings together, so to speak.
I agree.
Ice chimes up from back while smoking something that she has found in cabin and goes, "Are we not flying already?" Oh, wait,
Well-
no, we're not. My bad.
So if you had the green potion, you want to have like the yellow one that might just tone it down just a little.
Manta brings over some yellow potion for you, Ice. You know, like you wanna have some of that.
Oh no, we are not flying. We do need dragon for that. I see now. Excellent. All right. No, I'm here for it.
All right. So taking the dragons, not the boat. I'm gonna buy that boat one day. I swear to God, I'm gonna buy that boat one day. Anyway, cool. So where are we headed then? Well, I guess we can find all that after we discuss those things.
So Montre has, been picking up the context clues of this conversation, and he says, "So, y'all are talking about where are you trying to go exactly? I have some maps. Like we can pull up some maps if you want to like figure out where you're going. How you're going.
Well, I thought probably a good stop would just be the Pirate Isles next, because we can get wherever we need to go from there, and there might be some fun work or something, or there might be something we can do after that. Unless y'all wanted to head back to the forest, that we could do that too. What was the game plan? Where did we want to go exactly?
First, we must go to the what is it? The Serpentine Hills or Serpent Hills or Snake Place? I'm not entirely sure. But
Snake place is where.
common, place names in common are very odd. But we must find this person. We should go and buy things as well. There are a number of components for spells that are very tricky without proper materials.
Avis, can we go to this person tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow?
You talking about the healer?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we can go see him tomorrow.
Well, that sounds like a good idea.
I mean, I'll be honest, they're real old. So I doubt they'll be awake this time of night anyway.
That would be rude of us. We can let everyone sleep for the rest of the evening, visit them tomorrow, square away any other problems on the island, and then set off. And hopefully we can bring this chapter to a close.
And Montre says, "Wow, you're gonna go see Avele, huh? That's
Yeah.
must be some pretty stuff you're into right now. Some pretty serious stuff."
I mean, it might be nothing. You know, we get some answers. Maybe we just head off to the Pirate Isles and have ourselves a nice fun adventure. We don't even need to head towards those Snake Hills. That could be a good thing. So again, Helena, whatever you want, we are good with that. We just want to make sure the island is safe. Is question number one.
Okay, as long as we haven't made any decisions whether to go towards the danger or away from the danger, in which case I vote away. And we're gonna go and see if the island is protected. Then that is the plan that I have agreed upon very clearly this evening. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
No,
yes.
Yes.
no one is going to be taking
Yes.
anyone anywhere they don't want to go.
One
That's
step at a time.
And if in fact we do arrive at what we think is away from danger and it end up being towards the danger, don't you worry, Helena. You put me first. I put the pointy end of the stick in the bad guy for you.
As long as your pointy end is pointing straight towards the bad guy and not just some liquid that we find along the way.
It may be both.
Okay.
At this point,
Finish.
Quince gets up and says, "I want to go for a fly. Do you want to come, Rosebud?" And Rosebud says, "Sure, yeah." And they beeline towards the door. People who are in the way, the other people in the room, just instinctually quickly move out of their way. Elliot, were you still? Did everyone come in, by the way?
Well, no,
Oh, I know.
No.
Elliot is
as-
inside at this point and a little toasty.
Oh, right. That's right. You were on the
Yeah.
floor and everything.
Yeah.
So, if the doorway is clear, then yes, the two dragons just go straight out and find themselves face to face with Snowroot and Latreu.
And I think also Leonid would be there too.
And Leonid as well. So now we have these four dragons face to face and a storm giant standing by. And Quint says, one of the humanoids in there said that you would leave our territory alone. We told you to stay away from our side. And Snowroot says, timidly at first, "You took my side. Did you tell him that?" And Rosebud said, "But you know how it goes. Whoever's stronger gets the side that they want." And Snowroot says, "But you keep changing sides." And she just ice breaths in their face.
Latrell eyebrows raises just one eyebrow at first. Again, his normal people's eyebrow notion, and then when he sees the correlation happen between the two, he kind of like twists his head to the side, like, wait.
Quince is about to respond when you say wait.
So, territory is important. We all must respect everyone's territory. If territory is taken, that is not respect, because then they will respond in force. I am in the forest. I protect the forest. If someone enters into my territory and tries to disturb that territory, they are met with force and are eliminated. You all, though, are family. So territory should be shared. It's different if Elliot came to my territory, who's like my brother, I wouldn't hurt him because he's my brother. And so you are our siblings. So territory should work and be shared. Right?
Go ahead and do a roll. I think this is definitely persuasion. I am gonna have it be disadvantaged because they're about to come to blows, and you're, this could, it's gonna be difficult to stop these dragons from getting into another fight right now.
Okay. All right. So you said it says disadvantage. I'm going to use lucky, right? So I can use lucky. That should make it a straight roll, right?
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
Canceling stuff out. My favorite way to use lucky.
Yes.
I was like, oh wait, that was a cocked. Come on, say straight. There you go. Okay. Oh wow. So that would be an 18 with a +1. So that's a 19.
Nicely done. So Quince had raised one of his claws on his wing and was about to strike in response to Snowroot, but paused to hear you kind of give this little speech and drops the wing and the claw back down to the ground and says, you made me realize something. Yes, we are family, whether or not we like it. And we do share a territory right now, whether or not we like it. But that humanoid in there said that we will have our own territory soon anyway. So it's not worth my ice breath to keep arguing with you. He looks directly at Snowroot and says that to her, that last part.
Which humanoid?
I don't know, the one in there. One of them. I always forget the humanoid's names. And Rosebud says, I think his name is Elliot. Yeah, that's definitely his name. It's Elliot.
His eyebrow raises from that. He says, Elliot promised that?
Yeah, he said that he would find us a cold place with no rules that we could just have be our own home.
So.
Oops.
Originally, he had no consideration at all for that. It was like, they can find their own man. This thing hurts no root. However,
that's what happens when you make promises buzzed.
It was the wine talking.
He is aware. Would he be aware of? Because he's a giant. He knows that giants reside. Yeah. Many giants reside mountainous areas, more colder based environments. Would he be able to recall that information and be able to provide that?
Yeah. Do you want to? Yeah, just do a check to see how much you recall.
Yeah, because I was taken away at a young. Here we go.
The chat is funny.
It sounded like a good idea at the time.
Okay, that's not bad.
I mean,
just a 13. Yeah, that's a flat roll. I have no intelligence. I have a 0 in intelligence. Yeah, so that's 13.
13, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so you yes. Here's the thing, though. Also, knowing that you don't know everything about where you're from, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't know everything about your family. That's a big question for you. So you have limited knowledge about where the Storm Giants are from, but you do. I mean, basically, beyond what you already have said, which is that the Storm Giants are from mountainous, cold regions, you have a general idea of a place that you've wanted to personally go just by talking to other adventurers and travelers throughout your 18 years. People have mentioned the place that is called Vasa, which is beyond the Galen Mountains. And people have kind of pointed you there as a good place to kind of start to look for storm giants and possibly find out more about your own heritage.
He nods. He looks over. He says, "Well, you like the cold. I am, believe, naturally from the cold. I am aware of a place, mountains. Uh, what was that mountain location? Is it east? Considered east, northwest? Where it would be?
It's like straight north of where you are now.
Okay.
Yeah, super north.
Okay.
Yeah.
North from north from here is mountains called Vasa. It's a place I wanted to travel to myself one day. And it's cold. Natural for people, for things like us. If you want, when this is over, we could go there and we could find a home for you there. Would that work?
And Quinton Rosebud nods more enthusiastically. Yeah, that Vasa. Sounds kind of mysterious. And Quint says, "We'll see."
Now,
but yes,
just know there
when
would
you
be.
come back.
You just know that there would be giants like me. So just know everyone would need to have their own territory within the mountains, but it sounds like it would be a great place.
Well, that's what we want, so that sounds good to me.
He nods. He looks over at the snow root and says, "Are you okay with this?"
And Snowroot says, just nods.
Okay. So no more fighting, right? Siblings shouldn't fight. And he points towards the slash like this. Wrestling, maybe. Fight, no.
And Rosebud says, no more fighting. Right, Quince? And Quince says, no more fighting.
He nods. I have this food if you want to share. There's rice, beans. Food makes me feel better. Would you want some?
The dragons look down into the pot and without even saying anything, they dip their heads in and start to eat the rice and peas.
Mind you, none of us got to eat any of that.
She gave it to everyone else.
Only large
Legit.
creatures. It was only for the large creatures, I guess.
You had to be above a certain height. It's like a roller coaster. You have to be like 7 foot above to get some.
You best believe grandmother will be bringing out some more delicious rice and beans.
Yep.
At some point. I think at this point in the evening, Jesse, due to his relaxed state of mind and various things he's been imbibing at this party, he is no longer necessarily able to control his wings being out and his sort of radiant aura. It's just like on. So his eyes are glowing a little bit and his wings are, but he's sitting down on the floor.
You are actually, Jesse, sitting with some other people and whoever else would like to be there, sitting on the floor in a circle with some other people who are at the party. And they've started like playing music on lutes and other like little sea instruments, island instruments, steel drums, things like that. And if there's anything else, actually, I'll just say this too. Latreyu, after this conversation with the dragons, you've successfully squashed the beef for now, along with Elliot's promise, which actually was helpful too in that. Rosebud and Quince just take off into the air, wanting to stretch their wings and just get some fresh air. And you see the two dragons swirling around in the sky above you. The party going on inside, the mellow music of the island sound, um, and Latreyu sharing his big pot of rice and beans with dragons and such. And if is there anything else you all would like to do tonight at this party?
Jesse's just gonna ask Helena to braid his hair. Oh, you might be muted, Liza.
I said Helena would happily braid his hair. But also, Jessie would feel that it's not her best work. She's a little distracted, might be pulling here or there a little bit. But she is going to be braiding your hair.
That's it's fine. It's good. It's still kind of relaxing. Thank you.
And over in the kitchen, Montre is just like showing you different potions, ice, and saying, this one is really good if you are wanting energy. This one is good if you're not wanting to have it. Just like really chill out. And this sea brush actually grows underneath the island on the west side. Have you been below the island yet? Like, has Jesse taken you? There's a whole other like part of our island. Like, we live under, because we're sea elves, so we can breathe underwater. You can't, but maybe you can come visit next time you're in town.
Wait, but can Jesse breathe underwater? I mean, I don't know if you look at him, but he look a little more like me than he look like.
Jesse, can you breathe underwater, dude?
I try.
He tries. He never could.
See, that makes more sense. Perhaps I try to, same way he does. But no, this is good. I take down notes. I come back. I let you know how I feel, right? Yes, good.
Yeah. You come back. Yeah, that's right. And then over in the circle, the little like music circle, Avis, some of the sea elves have picked up on the fact that you're a bard, and they're saying, "Come on, play something for us. Come on, play something," and they're all kind of like cheering you on.
How about we make a song together? Yes? All of you get your instruments. Follow my lead.
Okay.
And he will get his drums, and he will begin to play just a steady 1-2 beat over and over again, while slowly incorporating them into it. So eventually, it's a beat that is faster and upbeat, kind of a salsa feel to it, but it's still relatively simple to do without his influence.
As the music starts to get more complex and starts to pick up more, Elliot will stand up and start to do a little sway, and eventually will is Helena still here at the party?
I think so, right, Helena? Because she was braiding Jesse's hair.
Braiding Jesse's hair.
Yeah, braiding Jesse's hair. Will kind of reach out to try to pull Helena away from braiding Jesse's hair to do a little dance. Just kind of like not a very good dance, more like one of these, like a a little bit of this.
Seinfeld? Is that
yeah, very much one of those.
Even a two-step, not even
with
two-step.
maybe a twirl or something. That's the most that Elliot will get out of this, and then back to sitting down.
Helena enjoys the dance, but also is still very much, frazzled, and like you could tell that she was not. She would dance, and she's not like making it like rude, but you could
Right.
tell that her mind wasn't in the moment.
Not in it. Okay, got it.
And this party, as it winds further into the night, we will end our session. And so next week we will pick back up in the morning, and it sounds like y'all have a little bit of a to-do list, and you're visiting this cleric Avele, and so that's what we'll pick up next week. Kira, would you like to take us out?
Yes. So I hope you all enjoyed this stream. It was such an excellent experience. It was so much fun. I love the character dynamic within everyone. So we're going to go down the list to our fantastic cast to, tell them a little bit more about themselves and their projects that they're working on. And of course, I would love to start with Eliza. Go ahead and if you'd like to talk about anything that you're currently working on.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Eliza Pearl at Eliza Pearl on Twitter and Instagram. And on Tuesday night, we're going to be replaying the Felicia Day episode of my show, Slay, my improvised monster hunting show. She guested with us last night, and we always repost the episode onto YouTube the following Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Pacific. So join me for that Tuesday night if you didn't see the episode, or if you did and you want to rewatch it with us in the chat. And then next Friday is our last show for the time being for Slay. And I think that's what I got going on this week.
Awesome. And we're going to go a little bit different.
Oh wait, sorry, I forgot. I'm also co-hosting a panel for Virtuous Con. Me and Kendi Allen from Women at Warp are going to be interviewing Wilson Cruz to talk about Afro-Latinidad in Star Trek. So that's going to be at Virtuous Con tomorrow, I think at 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm not sure about the time. So follow me and I'll be retweeting it.
You can follow her Twitter. I put it in the chat. So just go ahead and follow her there and keep up with all the news and current projects you're working on. I'm going to do a little bit of a curveball. I'm going to go in the reverse angle. We're going to start with May. May, would you like to talk about your projects that you're currently working on?
Sure. Hi there, Melee Damage. You can follow me on all the socials at whatever they are / Melee Damage. That is the best way to stay up to date with all the stuff that I am doing. There's a bunch of it. I'm a musician. I have new music coming out, a new video coming out soon. Doing a bunch of short films, a full-length feature film, a couple of TV projects. On Tuesdays, you can catch me on Twitch, Hunters Entertainment, for a wonderful show called Outbreak Undead. If you have not had a chance to catch Outbreak Undead Rag and Bone with Hunters Entertainment, please do yourself a favor and do that. Some people have said that it's better than The Walking Dead. I may or may not agree, but you say it for yourself. And you can catch me here with these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful individuals every Saturday, having so much fun. And look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Awesome. Next, we have Diana. Diana, would like to talk about your project and things you're working on?
Hi, yeah, I would love that. Once a week you can catch my podcast Femsplained, where we have femme nerds talking about nerd stuff they like without being interrupted, quizzed, or patronized too. We just recorded earlier today with the coolest guests that I can't say yet, so just get ahead of time so that you can hear that episode. I'm really excited about that. On Tuesday, I will be on Kobold Press playing a little mushroom, stabby mushroom. I'm excited about that. That is Scarlet Citadel. On Wednesday nights, I'm over on Unmade Gaming playing a sentient mech suit who has a pet rock that may or may not actually have feelings. And Saturday, you can find me here. And otherwise, you can check me out, Super Dylan, everywhere on the internet. I make lots of TikToks, lots of videos, and I never shut up. So you can just go see whatever I say there. Okay.
That was an awesome way to end it. I never shut up. That was great. Next we have is Glyza. Glyza, you'd like to talk about yourself, your projects you're working on.
Hey. So it's Glyza. Oops, sorry, that was my plate. It's Glyza from Classical Adventures for One, which is a podcast where I read classic books dramatically and also discuss content about that book from author to different movies made out of it. The main thing is this classic books. It's an educational resource for teachers if they want to use it for their teenagers, even for parents, or if you just want to relax, you can just put me on reading a book for you as you fall asleep. That is my main passion project. I do still live stream a little bit on Twitch. I'm working on getting one set up where I play Stardew Valley with a couple of friends together, that kind of thing. Keep an eye on the Twitch for me. It's gonna be all of my links are gonna be just under Classical Glyza, so / Classical Glyza. You can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Twitch, and also you can find me on both the Bear Pen and Kira's channel playing different games with them. So that's me.
Perfect. Making our way up, we're gonna go with Ree. Ree, if you'd like to talk about any projects that you're working on.
Yes, hello everyone. I am at Big Dude Re on the Twitter, where you can find me saying funny things sometimes. Normally, you can find me playing the lovely and noble high elf wizard going to school and trying to keep his friends on the straight and narrow every Tuesday at Rivenwood Academy. You can also find me doing different things on Twitter between helping people and kind of having discourse about various political subjects sometimes. So give me a follow if that's the thing you like.
Fantastic. And of course, we have Adrian. Adrian, you'd like to talk about yourself and projects you're working on?
Sure thing. I'm just going to pop back to Glyza for a second because I think she had something else that she wanted to say and she forgot.
Oh, I wanted to thank every single person who's helped me with my mic. This week, my mic broke, and I shared it on Twitter and how I was saving up to get a new mic. And within less than a day, everyone from the podcasting community reshared, retweeted, and asked for help. And I met my goal within less than a day, and now I have a new mic. So I want to thank everyone that that helped out with that. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be able to do anything with podcasting without you guys. So thank you, and thanks for passing back to me, Adrian. I appreciate you so much.
I mean, community is what it's all about. Like, I'm always so impressed with how wonderful the podcasting and TTRPG community is to each other. To be honest, you guys are all always fantastic. And in that thread, I want to, as guys mentioned earlier, we do have our channel, The Bear Pen. So it's with an H at the end. There are reasons for that, but anyway. So we are actually sort of like branching out a little bit, and a few changes are going to be happening at The Bear Pen, and I'm super excited for all of them. So there are a few changes. The Bear Pen has its own Twitter now. So I have sort of like separated my Twitter from the Bear Pen's Twitter, so they will be separate there. So the Bear Pen's Twitter is still at the Bear Pen. You can find things from the Bear Pen on Instagram at Bear Pen, not the Bear Pen. My own personal Twitter will be the Adrian Bear, because when I wanted to change it back, Adrian Bear was taken. So I am now the Adrian Bear on Twitter. I'm the only one. The Adrian. And on the Bear Pen, we are playing a whole host of wonderful RPGs. We have our Knights of Thala D&D campaign, which is on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Taiwan time. So I think it's like 4 a.m. or something in San Diego Pacific, but 5. But Blood on the Bayou, our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, happens every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We just had our mid-season episodes, and it ended on a bit of a tense moment. So I'm super excited for you guys to see what happens tomorrow. Actually, it's going to be pretty great. And we have a couple of other projects coming up for the Bear Pen too. I think I mentioned last time that our next project is a mini-series, a City of Mist mini-series. So it should be about 8 episodes. Kira will be on that show. Glyza will be on that show. And D'Artagnan Italiano, you've seen him on Q Times. He's going to be on that show as well, which is pretty dope. We're hoping to make that a reoccurring mini-series probably every time that I have either winter or summer vacation, because it's just, I'm also studying at university, so that's kind of like the time that fits. But that will be Mondays, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I think our first episode is should be July 12th.
12th? Yeah, July 12th.
Yeah, because we will be having our session series and stuff. Sorry, I'm talking a lot, but stay tuned for other information. And also find Kira and Glyza playing on Blood in the Bayou. They have amazing characters. And yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. And as for yours truly, of course, I'm Kira858. As they mentioned, I play a Sour Patch Kid, Sweet Bean Salubri in Blood of the Bayou. So it's very interesting playing that individual, being the exact opposite of like really impactful person like Latrell to like, I need to avoid everything under the sun with Sora. And then of course on Tuesdays we have our fantastic show Riverwood Academy, which is a magic school TTRPG with which has the DM Erin, who is absolutely fantastic. She created this fantastic world, and I play in that character this little bitty 8-year-old kid who's also great sweet bean, who you know who's pretty shy and stuff like that, but he's a great guy. In terms of other content, we will, of course, be going forward with art streams coming in the near future, and a few other projects coming in exclusively on our YouTube channel. So keep a lookout for that because there's going to be a new TTRPG show coming specifically for YouTube that's definitely outside of our normal content. And I will give a sneak peek. I am DMing it. It's actually my first time DMing, or no, second time DMing total. We've been playing a bit offline, and this has been a lot of fun. And so I'm definitely looking forward to actually showing you what we've been working behind the scenes. So more information will be on to come, and hopefully we should have that out by sometime next month. So with that said, thank you all so much for taking the time for watching this stream. We're going to go ahead and jump into our after show. So if you want to catch our after show, once again, you can join our Patreon. And like I said, we could be able to catch all our after shows. And we look forward to see you all next Saturday for our episode 3 for Lords of Faerun. Farewell for now.